Yet another thing that happened just recently, not quite the same style of event, but another major event was the Topanga League.
Yes, and
The Topanga World League.
This is the first time they've invited foreign players to the Topanga before, but they've really kind of opened it up, especially with them inviting PR Balrog from the United States. It's usually been just focused on Asia, but this was the first time that they actually brought over a player from the Western side.
Right.
I'm actually really sad that they didn't also bring someone like Ryan Hart.
Right, that'd be great
hopefully
for Europe
the next
to represent,
time or something like that, right? Ryan Hart or Luffy or something like that would be really cool to see.
For sure.
But
so
yeah.
the players who were in it were Daigo Umehara. I don't want to do it in that order. Fudo with Faye, of course.
Yes.
Bonchan with Sagat. Wow with Oni and Dudley. PR Rog with Balrog. Xiaohai with Kami and Evil Ryu. Infiltration with Akuma and Chun. And Shen with Guile and Guile.
Right. Did he actually use Guile at all in there?
Let me do a quick Control F. We'll find out.
I don't think he actually did.
He actually did not.
Yeah, he just used Gen the whole entire time.
Right.
So. But yeah, I mean, it was definitely very interesting results. I have a funny feeling that if you were a betting man and you tried to guess the order of the top 8, that you probably would have gotten pretty badly bodied.
Yeah.
Mostly for one reason. But
so, okay. I guess we'll do first place was Daigo Umehara.
Right.
And it's so this is a round-robin format.
Yes.
Everybody plays everybody, and they record how many games you win in your first 7 set.
Yeah, and it's first to 7, so
Right.
it's not even just like 2 out of 3. So this is the grind.
It's
right?
the grind. Yeah, absolutely. You had a lot of games to play. So Daigo won 6 matches, lost only 1, and he was a total of plus 21 in games. So I mean, he did awesome. He played super well. Xiaohai got 2nd place with Kami, a little bit of Evil Ryu. He got 5 wins, 2 losses, plus 8. Bonchan with Sagat was 3rd, also 5 and 2. He was plus 13, but I think Xiaohai beat Bonchan, hence him being above Bonchan.
Right, that was the tiebreaker.
Exactly, yeah. Wow got 3 wins and 4 losses. He was plus 2. Shen got 3 wins and 4 losses. He was minus 1. Fudo went 3 and 4, and he was minus 8. And then PR Balrog went 2 and 5 and was minus 18. And Infiltration had the rear. With 8th place, he was 1 and 6. Yeah, minus 17.
2 players in there, Fudo and Infiltration, would kind of throws that off for me. Like, I would not have guessed them in bottom 3.
I wouldn't have put Xiaohai in top 2. I'm just going to say it.
Yeah. I kind of agree with that, yeah. I would have guessed it would have like been Umehara, Bonchan, and either Shin or Infiltration. That's who
that was your top 3?
That's who I would have put in top 3.
Makes total sense.
Yeah.
But, I really think that...
And maybe not even Umehara, just because we haven't seen him much recently. But,
yeah.
Oh, then again, he always does great in those first to 10s, so...
That's true, yeah, he really figures people out.
Yeah, so...
Yeah. And it's not like a regular tournament where you can run into anybody. You know that you're playing against 7 people. You find out who you're playing against a little bit in advance. Not just as far as the day, but, well before the event even started. So he knew who to game plan for. Right. And, I mean, clearly he did.
They all did.
I'm sure they all did.
Yeah.
I'm sure they all did.
I mean, I saw Eduardo even tweet out a picture. He had folders of all match videos of all 7 of his opponents in there. Yeah, so he had that there.
So, what to make of the results? Bonchan, I think, is maybe the most talented there in my view. I just am so impressed whenever I see him play. Like, his spacing is immaculate. His understanding of the mix-ups, immaculate.
Right.
Everything about this guy.
Wasn't he the one who Daigo became friends with at the Mahjong parlor or something, and he just ended up teaching Street Fighter 2 or something like that?
It's frozen.
Oh no, it's frozen again.
Yeah.
Did it just freeze?
Yeah, I just saw it freeze,
cool.
so hopefully it didn't take too long there. People find it's freed up. I remember hearing that about somebody. I don't know whether it was Bonchan. That'd be if it was.
It
that's
might have been him. I can't remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Bonchan is pretty freaking amazing, and he's using one of the weakest characters in that event.
You know,
right?
yeah. As far as the characters that are in this, Ryu, Cammy, Sagat, Oni, Gen, Faye, Balrog, Akuma. Well, maybe he's not the weakest. I don't know, but you know, they're all about the same tier. There's like, well, Cammy and Akuma and Faye are in there, but other than that, I would say that those are all about the same tier. Maybe Balrog's even the worst, but they're all pretty good. So whatever. But yeah, if he were using a top tier character, if Sagat was top tier again, I don't know why he would lose.
Fair enough. Yeah, I believe.
Like, it just he's so good. He's so good.
But I mean, the surprises to me were Infiltration, obviously getting 8th place. Not sure like if people have been figuring him out or if he's just preparing more for Ultra instead of continuing to play this one, or I don't know what the situation is.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. He only won once, and it was on the last day, and it was in the Chun-Li against WoW Oni match, which is considered one of Oni's worst matches.
Right. So. I mean, I'm not sure, you know, if he's just taking a break right now before Ultra or what's going on. So, hard to see. I mean, I'm sad to see it happen, but, you know, hopefully it is something like that. I hope it's nothing deeper than that. Let's just put it that way.
I definitely agree with that. I think that, so, okay, there's been talk about ROG finishing 7th, and US gets blown up, obviously.
And ROG also tweeted out some angry tweets,
right.
And that became the topic of a lot of stuff too. You know,
right.
like people are making too many excuses and blah 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 blah. Like, you know, it's kind of the same conversation. Like, your character doesn't matter. You just have to be better. Blah 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 blah. So, I don't know. Like, how do you feel about that whole situation?
Well, I don't want to. You know, we just had this conversation, kind of, but I don't want to deny tiers.
Right.
Tiers and matchups are real things. To the extent that people ignore them, it's for like the mental benefit of ignoring them. That is to say, if you don't let yourself believe in tiers or matchups, you kind of have like a mental edge in that like you don't expect to lose anything. You know what I mean? Like when I talk with Alex Valle about this, like he doesn't want to talk about he doesn't want to talk about a bad matchup. He doesn't want to talk about tiers. He just wants to pick his character and do whatever you can. Right? Like, that's the mentality. So I understand that mentality. I just don't... I think it's ignoring the reality of it in favor of, like, a specific mental advantage, so...
Yeah, I mean, you can take it to the extremes, right? Like, so if you talk about Super Turbo, I mean, I've played Cammy my whole life. I think she is the worst character in the game, right? And, you know, at one point I said Cammy Honda was an 0-10 matchup, right? It's 9-1 in my opinion now, right? But, you know, people were like, you know, you just have to learn the fight or whatever like that. And I'm like, look, I have an over 50% record against Hondas with my Cammy in tournaments because I studied that matchup so deeply, right? I'm still not going to believe it's anything better than 9-1. Like, I still think it's 9-1. It's just,
I think you're right.
You know, you have to acknowledge that these bad matches exist. Now, in Street Fighter 4, in AE 2012, there are no matchups that are that bad. Not even close, right? So... Unless...
probably so. It's probably nothing that bad. I don't want to say not even close. I think some get close.
Okay.
I think, like, Sim Makoto is getting close. Yeah. I think, like, T-Hawk Blanca is probably getting close.
Right,
but I think you're probably right that none of them are as bad.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, yes, you can definitely overcome your character. Look at Haitani using Makoto and such. You know, he's been doing amazing with that character, right? So Sako doing super well with Evil Ryu. Like, I can't necessarily put Evil Ryu above Balrog. You know,
maybe. I don't know. I'd say they're probably about the same.
Right, exactly.
But, yeah, I mean, again, dude, Shazam won Injustice at Texas Showdown.
Exactly.
So.
It's, you know, you could definitely overcome your character's flaws.
You can, but...
One, it's harder in a longer set, and two, it's harder in a 1-7 format against players of this caliber.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to be exacerbated a little bit.
Yeah, I always said that part of the reason that I thought that ST looked like it was more balanced in Japan was that they had these single elimination one-game tournaments. And if I'm T-Hawk, like, sometimes I'll, like, get a knockdown and do, like, SPDs over and I'll win. But over time, that's not very likely to happen. Like, over time, you're going to lose to whatever your bad matchups are. It's just, it's not likely that you're going to have, like, if I'm Q and I play against Makoto, maybe I win a game. Sometimes I did win 2 out of 3 sets against Makoto.
Yeah.
It happened.
Yeah.
Over time, I got my butt kicked by Makoto. Okay, so
Yep.
that's how it is. I think that it's true that Balrog the character has some problems. You could see them get exploited in ways that most people can't do. Bonchan threw Rog out of turnaround punch, and he threw Rog out of EX dash punch at a range where most people wouldn't be able to react.
Right.
So I understand that when somebody sees Bonchan do that, they think, wow, that's Bonchan being awesome. And it's true. But it's also a liability of the character. And just the fact that not many people can exploit it doesn't mean that it's not something that's exploitable.
Right. So, I mean, this is the question that a lot of people have been talking about now, which is, this means that America is weaker, and we're not as good as Japan right now, even though some people were saying that this may be the year that a non-Asian player may win Evo in Street Fighter 4, and now all of a sudden the tune has changed. It's like we're just not as good, etc., etc. And PR Rog also talked a lot about the training habits of Japan, and how they share information a lot more, because they're more interested in getting... They don't save tech because they don't win money as much in tournaments and stuff like that. I mean, how do you feel about all that?
I think that's accurate. Yeah, I think that's for sure the case. Again, going back to why I thought ST looked balanced in Japan, it's not just the fact that it was 1 out of 1. It's the fact that they weren't playing for money. So who cares whether you lose? In fact, if you lose, that means you put fewer quarters or fewer yen in the machine. And so you ended up paying less money. So, I mean, that doesn't make a difference. But the point is just that you're not playing for money. So you might as well just pick Cammy or whoever. You're not going to go Old Sagat, because that's not an interesting way to win for most people. It's a way to win, but not an interesting one. So, yeah, I think that that's true.
Yeah, I mean, another thing that they were saying too was just, and I agree with this, is that because money is not on the line in a lot of events, they're totally willing to share technology with each other.
I think that's accurate.
There's no concept of saving it so you can use it on them. You know what I mean? In the States, obviously, everyone wants as many advantages as possible. But it's really interesting because, I mean, I did talk about it, how it's different in some places. Like, I feel like New York shares technology between each other the least out of a lot of the groups, or one of the lesser amounts, I should say.
I think you're right.
SoCal is infamous for people sharing things all the time. And then what F-Champ did for FGTV, helping a lot of the Marvel players up there.
It's true.
It definitely happens. It happens
more often now than it used to, for sure.
I mean, I also think one of the big factors really is just location, right?
Yeah.
If we took all the great players in our country and moved them all into, I'm just saying this for the sake of argument, the state of California. Yeah. And we could get to each other within 3 hours. Right. We would all be amazing.
I think so too. If we had a super awesome internet and the infrastructure to do that, and a small space to cover. Yeah, it would be easier. Those are real things.
Yeah, I mean, I think, America still is not as strong as Japan, but I still think we're. Too. I mean, it's going to be the case for a while, but we're getting closer all the time. So
yeah, I agree with everything you said. I don't want to come off like I am fully excusing American performance.
Yeah, we're not making excuses for PR Rog at all in this event.
Because I think it's true that we're not on the same level overall as people are in Japan. I think at the very top level, I don't know, maybe if you run this tournament multiple times, you get a different result, right? Like, or maybe if you had another player who was at Rog's level come over, maybe he does really well. Maybe Justin would have done well. I think that at that level, the very tippy top, it's pretty close. I would probably still give the edge to Japan. But certainly beyond that, the average person in Japanese arcades is really good. Everybody always tells me when they go over there. Like, some random dude sat down at the machine and he bodied everybody. And nobody knew who he was, and then he went home and he went to work the next day and blah, blah, blah. You hear about that, whereas the average level in the U.S. is probably not as high.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, I don't think that it's inaccurate for Rog to have complaints about the character. I think he's right about the sharing thing.
So, I mean, it'd be really
Yeah.
interesting to see how it goes. It is kind of one of the things that I do like about having teams. Like, the Team Pi guys are practicing with each other all the time, sharing tech. EG is probably sharing tech with each other a lot of times, So, within the little circles, it helps the FGTV guys, like I said. Champ doing a good job teaching a lot of the Marvel players and stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, let's face it, if Champ wasn't teaching a lot of those NorCal guys, they would all be ass, right? So
That's the natural state of things.
Yeah,
that
in
we were implying.
NorCal, yeah, exactly. So but no, I'm just kidding. No, but I mean, it's definitely like that. But I do feel like there needs, there may be a call for some little changes here and there, but I'm not too worried about it. So I think America's doing fine. But let me just pose this one last question to you. If not PROG, who would you have sent over from the entire Western Hemisphere, non-Asian players?
That's a huge question.
Yeah. Who do you think would have had an equal or better chance than PROG?
As far as who would have had a better chance, I don't know that I could pick anybody out. I certainly think that there are people who could have equal chances. I do think that Justin is an example. I think that the way that K-Brad's been playing lately, he's an example now. Dominion I would probably still put up there, even though he hasn't, I mean, there are definitely people.
Well, I did say in the entire Western Hemisphere, so I'm including Europe
that's true.
players
That
as
counts.
well. Yeah,
that's a good point.
Yeah,
Ryan Hart's somebody to put in there. There are probably half a dozen people who I think could have been legit in the same kind of situation.
Yeah. I definitely like K-Brad because he's been playing very strong.
Has been.
Again, very strong character, right? So it's good for him. It would help him in that situation. And honestly, I feel like Ryan Hart just has a really good record against Asian players. So I feel like Ryan Hart would do really well. So, yeah.
Well, maybe we'll see that in the future.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be really cool if they can get more Topanga tournaments out there. I mean, the hardest part is that it is round robin, right? So if you can't increase it to more than 8, otherwise it'll just be ridiculous.
That'd be hard.
Right, it'd be hard. Nice thing about it is you don't have to have the even multiples of 2 or whatever like that. Any number of players can happen. So hopefully it goes up to 10 or something like that at some point. Can invite more players. I think that would be really cool.
We didn't mention this, but there was quite a bit of money on the line. Umehara, who won it, he won $1.5 million yen, which is $14,460-ish. Shanghai for getting second place got $4,820, $2,410 for Bonchan,
Nice.
$965 for Wow, $675 for Xian, $480 for Fudo, $290 for PROG, and Bupkis for Infiltration, apparently.
Oh, I hope not, dude.
Damn, that's according to SRK.
Well, also another thing too, a lot of people have been talking about is when is US gonna throw their own Topanga like kind of stuff? Like, is it time we start doing, instead of tournaments of 2 out of 3, we start doing invite only events? I mean, the one thing I'll say is one, US is a lot bigger, so it's a lot harder to do, right? And 2, so one of the big things about Topanga, it was pay-per-view. A lot of people got mad because they couldn't buy it outside of Japan at first, but they worked it out and they got it so that people outside of Japan could buy it. But let's think about, can we think of another event that was like Topanga where someone paid for a bunch of people and flew them out for a really cool event and then tried to charge people on stream for it, Canada Cup, and it became a meme? Like, are people here ready for that kind of situation? Are people in the States, if we ran our own Topanga US and we charged pay-per-view for the stream, or you could not watch it, are we ready for that? Or will it become a Canada Cup meme? You know what I mean? Like, he tried. He spent a lot of money.
That's a good point.
He was one of the only people out there who had the financial capabilities of producing that kind of event, and it didn't go over well. So,
It's a good point.
Curious to see. So, yep.
Was there anything else to talk about? There's this Capcom Tencent rumor where there's a rumor about Tencent taking over Capcom.
Mm-hmm. Tencent is the company in Japan. Chinese company. They all look the same. No, I'm just kidding. No, they're a company in China.
Cancel Chen.
They're the ones who bought Riot, right? So
Yeah.
they own Riot as
Yes,
well.
they do.
They're the ones who are doing the Shendozuang
That's
fighting game, which with the KOF characters and stuff like that. So no one's really sure what this partnership entails. If it's just like letting Capcom characters show up in something, or
Right.
I mean, it would be really cool if Ryu showed up as a champion in League of Legends or something like that. That'd be sick.
That would make my day.
Yeah,
kind
I
of.
know.
Maybe I'd be weirded out, but in
If
any case,
Zangief was in there, you would like it. Because if you could grab...
if he was done badly, I would be so mad. But if he was done well, I'd
Like,
be
if he
very
could, like,
happy.
SPD people from far away and have them just, like, suck in, like, all of a sudden.
That would be so sick. That would be amazing.
Or if it's actually a buyout, or
Yeah.
if it's a... You know, no one's really sure, but... I don't know. We'll keep an eye on that. It'll be very interesting.
It could be completely unrelated to fighting games, too.
Yeah.
Like, maybe they're going to do something with Mega Man.
Right. And
Just
then,
a rumor anyway.
And, like... Capcom Japan's apparently not doing terrible because they're also building like some $80 million new R&D facility in
Are
Japan
they? Oh, I
or
hadn't heard
something
about
like
that.
that. Yeah, so they're building a new R&D facility. So they're not like on death's door or
Okay.
anything like that. So I think it's a little preemptive to say it's like some crazy buyout unless Capcom knows something that they're gonna get lots of money to afford an R&D department. I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know. We're not. Man, what about Dalsum as the character in League of Legends? That'd be so sick.
Dude, especially if he could like punch through trees. Could you imagine if he could like fierce through the trees and hit people on the other side?
That would be so... I mean, I feel like he would totally work as a champion.
Teleport everywhere.
Yeah, he would have teleport. Yeah, he would have like,
Yoga
long
Catastrophe,
limbs.
dude. Yoga Catastrophe float across the screen.
His auto attack would be Yoga Fire. He would just be fire.
Dude, you could totally do it.
I could totally
dude.
see
You
this
could totally
happening.
do it.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Catastrophe, how sick would that be?
Would that be his
Right?
ult?
Yeah, his ult. Yeah,
Yeah,
like you like, I picture like you just doing it like with the wave, and then like just like this is now your minion wave, like that you're moving behind. It's Catastrophe, and it just like goes very slowly, very slow. Oh, that'd be so sick. Anyway.
Oh man. Okay.
Is that it? Anything else to talk about today?
Nothing else that I can think of right now. Just do want to mention this weekend coming up is one of the Capcom Pro Tour premier events.
Yeah.
And one of the longest running majors, which is of course NorCal Regionals. It's going to be a really, really cool event. I know they have a couple of exhibitions planned out for that as well. I don't know if they've publicly announced them. I know what they are, so I'm not going to say anything here just in case they haven't announced them yet. But it's going to be super cool. Obviously, lots of players show up for that. So it is a premier event, so it's going to reward more points, and whoever wins Street Fighter 4 will automatically qualify into Capcom Cup at the end of the year. So
Now, are you going to that?
yes, I am going to that. I'll be flying out on Thursday night.
I will not be going to that.
Okay.
It's Passover this week, and my family we're not going to celebrate it during the week. But we are going to do it over the weekend. You know, we have family members kind of spread around, and we're all going to meet up on the weekend. So that's going to be my Seder. So as a result, I'm not going to NorCal Regionals. Street Fighter is going to be one to watch for. A lot of other games did well in like organizing themselves.
Yes,
to
there's
show
a
up.
lot of side tournaments.
A lot of side tournaments, people running things, and they did a great job
What did they
for
say?
the most part.
They said like the two games that were neck and neck for the highest in side tournaments was Third Strike and something else. I can't
Wasn't it
remember.
Cross?
Was it Cross and Third Strike?
I don't
maybe?
remember, man,
Okay,
to be
okay,
honest.
Okay.
But Injustice won't be there.
There's no Injustice.
It's not happening. As far as I know. I last heard about it maybe a week ago, but as far as I know, there isn't any tournament happening. That is the result of a couple of things. One, it wasn't listed as one of the major, one of the big tournament games at NCR when that list first came out, which was basically like Street Fighter, Marvel, like Blaze Blue, like Tekken, stuff like that. Injustice wasn't on there, and so people got mad. Blah blah blah. They didn't want to support NCR.
Gotcha. It was one of those situations again, dude. I'm telling you right. I hate.
So they screwed it for themselves.
I hate
Because now
repeating
it's
that
not an
story,
NCR at all.
too. When you're mad at a TO, you don't boycott them. You show them up.
It sucks.
That's what you do.
No, I 100% agree, and it really sucks for Injustice because that game is looking good, and I know a lot of people are still doing the whole Resident Sleeper thing about it, but it's a good game, and it's fun to watch, and it's balanced, and it's had a lot of really good top 8s
Yes.
for anybody who's cared to watch.
Yes.
It really has looked good.
And, you know, we get a lot of people who are like, I'm really glad you talk about it because
Yeah.
I finally got a chance to try it. I took a chance,
That's
and
true.
I'm really enjoying the game. Yes,
We do get a lot of
the
messages
sound
like that.
effects, the graphics are not great
Yeah.
to watch necessarily,
Right.
but
It's not a good-looking, good-sounding game.
I mean, yeah, it's a
But
good,
but
it's a
so after that string of things going well, now they're not going to be at a tournament, which is
Right.
not a good look. So
Yeah.
hopefully, upcoming tournaments will still be good. You know, it'll be at MLG. Congrats to them for that. But I really wish that the scene hadn't had as much of a brain fart.
Yeah, we should probably talk a little about Strong Style. Bronson Tran is running a big giant Tekken event, and the big controversy right now is they're not streaming it.
Oh yeah.
Actually, I would like to talk about it, but I'd rather save it for next week a little bit
Okay,
more
sure.
because honestly, I don't know the reasoning behind it. I don't know anything about why they're not streaming it. I know they
Okay.
talked about it. I know a lot of people are supporting him for the reason. I just don't know what it is. I asked him. I was like, "What is the reason?" And he never got back to me. So I can't really comment
Okay.
on it right now.
Well, maybe you'll see him at NCR. and
Yeah.
have
Oh,
a
that's a good
conversation.
point. Yeah, I'll talk to him there. So
Well, okay. I guess that's it for now. Yeah.
yeah, I think so.
right.
I Play Winner show that sucks should be on right now.
Should be.
Twitch.tv/iPlayWinner. Go check that out.
Uh huh.
And I think
Okay.
that's about it. Okay.
See you next time.
Peace, guys. Oops. There we go.